Welcome to this week's Let's Get Moody. If this is your first time joining us, Let's Get Moody is a color and mood board weekly inspiration to help you get your creative juices flowing, to erase the blocks, and get you to paint. You can get these prompts directly to your inbox each week on Thursdays. All you have to do is click the link in the description below to sign up. I'd love to have you on the email list. Today's Let's Get Moody theme is called Wild Lilac. And if you look at the mood board, you will see that one of them had an olive tree and lilacs together. And so that's my inspiration for today. So you can use these prompts, either the colors or the pictures and mood boards, whatever sparks your interest. And so I'm gonna do a mix of the lilac flowers and the olive leaves, and we'll see what happens. These challenges, I try to do them in 10 minutes. So I have my timer here, and that's just to show you that you can create with little bits of time, and doing it quickly helps you turn your brain off a bit. And so you have a better chance of just kind of going with the flow and seeing what happens and having fun with it. So without anything else, I think it's time to go. So one tip I want to tell you, I did pre-mix my colors for this one because I knew I wanted some specific purples and greens and that tan color. So really all of them, I wanted some specifics. And so I did mix those ahead of time just because I know I only have 10 minutes. So feel free to do that when you need to. Okay, let's get started. Here we go. I almost always start with a pencil sketch. It just helps me break up the page to get started. These are the olive leaf inspiration. And I think I'll put my lilac up here. So lilacs have little flowers that are a little pointy, 4-petal flowers. So I'm just going to hint at those up in this corner because with 10 minutes, I won't have time to draw them. So it's all about hinting at the thing you are trying to create. If you're trying to do a different type of flower, you're just trying to aim to capture the major shapes that make it up so that people can recognize what you're trying to make. Sorry guys, I got interrupted there for a minute. I'm not sure what minute I was on, probably around 9. All I was saying was that you want to make sure that you're just capturing the basic shape of the flower you want to paint. So I know that my lilacs have that shape, and I know that my olive leaves have this long, narrow shape, and they overlap each other. Okay, so there's the pencil sketch. I know I want a lot of tan in here, so I'm gonna start with the gelato and just get some texture in here. Gelatos are really interesting because they can give you a crayon-like texture, but then you can also get a brush, add some water, and spread them around like watercolor. They are fun to work with because you get 2 different textures out of 1 supply. So if you're looking to buy minimal supplies, but you want some interesting textures on your pages, you can try out gelatos. You can find the link in the description below for all the supplies I'm using today. Ooh, there was some green from something on there. Okay, and I also have my tan mixed up here. So I'm going for a background on this one. I don't always, but I just want a rough background. This is a palette knife. Sometimes I just like to spread things around with the palette knife. And because there's some wetness from spreading the gelatos around, this is spreading fairly easily around the page. Okay, I've got 7 minutes to go, so I need to get going. I feel like I'm going a little slow today. That's okay. Okay. Now let's see. I have, let's add some little details into the lilacs. And this is a Derwent Inktense pencil, so you can see the color shifting if I go over a wet spot. And that is because they also spread like watercolor. I love these water-soluble tools that allow you to do that. And so you can see here, I'm leaving some with the shape, but then just scribbling to get the rest of them. And that's on purpose. So if I want to spread that purple out, I can do that too, but for now I'm going to leave it and get some of this green for the leaves. I don't like that brush. Let me see. All right, olive leaves, here we go. Okay, so I'm really just thinking of a bouquet that's draping down this direction as I'm painting this. To add a little bit of interest, I'm going to add some white to that green and just add a little bit of a different color. Okay, now we need to get some purples on here. Remember, I mixed these colors up ahead of time just to give me a little bit of space so I wouldn't have to rush so much. I don't do that all the time, but I knew that these colors were going to be a little trickier to mix, and so I took the time to mix them before I started. So you can see I'm just doing the hints of these flower petals. I know that they are pointy on the tips, and there are 4 of them. And then just filling in between some of those spaces. And then I have a darker purple that I can add to the mix. And that deep plum, I have that deep plum too. I'm going to use that to redefine the individual blossoms that I have. I'm going to use that for the centers. So now you can start to see, oh, there are little flower blossoms there. It's amazing what small marks can do to suggest the flower you're trying to make. I love that. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit lighter shade of purple to sort of fill in some of these spaces. Try not to cover my central flowers. And then I still have, this is a Jelly Roll pen. And some of this is wet, but where it's dry, I can sort of even define the petals even more. And, you know, of course I'm trying to do this in 10 minutes, but I can finish these details later. The point of the 10 minutes is to really get your idea out onto the page and get it started. And then you can continue to add details as you want to finish your piece, because drying time doesn't always work out. Here's another gelato. This one is purple. It's actually called strawberry, but it's purple. So I can add that in here too to add a little more texture to the lilac. That looks pretty. And then I have another Derwent Inktense pencil. I'm going to use that to define some of these leaves. Sometimes it's fun to outline parts of the leaves and leave other parts. It's just fun to do. It can be a little scary to add these details at the end when they're dark, but I challenge you to try it. It can be super fun. I still have 2 minutes, so yay. I have this acrylic ink. This is dioxazine purple, so that will go well with this painting. I'm gonna go over my dark spots again that represent the centers of these flowers, just to add a little more value contrast. This one you can see is still wet, so it's spread pretty far, but that's okay. That one too. You can always fix it later. But for now, not too bad. I do like the messy background. I think that's really fun. Let's see, I have 1 minute left, so I am going to get a smaller brush and add some highlights to these petals. So that's really the trick to getting an interesting painting. You want to get these dark values, but then you want to come back in with some very light highlights, because acrylic paint dries darker than what it looks like when you first put it down. And so you need to come back in and add some layers to brighten it up again. And that looks pretty good. 20 seconds left on the clock. All right, I think that's about it. So let's see, where it's spreading the ink, I probably would wait for that to dry and come back in and cover it up a bit, because it's getting a little crazy. The other dots I like a lot because they add some definition. I would probably add a little more detail in some of these leaves just to finish it up, and maybe some pencil scribbles in on top of them too, to add a little extra detail. But other than that, it looks pretty good. What do you think? How did yours turn out? Thanks for joining me today, and don't forget to sign up so you get the mood boards straight to your inbox, and I will see you next week.